Do you want to successfully complete the CompTIA A + Core 2 exam? Then you're in the right place. Welcome to MyITCerts.com, where thousands of students have found their path to exam success. Our website provides completely free access to over 300 practice questions with detailed explanations and comprehensive study guides covering every exam objective. Everything you need for success on your first attempt for free. In this video, we will cover questions from operating systems, security, software, troubleshooting, operational procedures, and memory management. So, let's get started. 1. A user with Windows 10 Home wants to encrypt their laptop's drive. After researching BitLocker, they find it's not available on their system. Which of the following would be the most direct solution to their problem? A. Install a third-party disk encryption tool. B. Enable device encryption in settings. C. Upgrade to Windows 10 Pro. D. Enable Windows Defender's encryption module. Do you know the answer? Correct answer, C. Upgrade to Windows 10 Pro. Explanation. Option C is correct because upgrading to Windows 10 Pro is the most direct way to get BitLocker, Microsoft's built-in drive encryption solution, which is not available in Home Edition. Option A is incorrect because it is possible but less direct, as it requires researching, selecting, and potentially purchasing third-party software. Option B is incorrect because device encryption is only available on specific hardware that meets certain requirements, and many home systems don't have this option. Option D is incorrect because Windows Defender doesn't include a drive encryption module. This functionality is provided by BitLocker. 2. An architectural firm needs workstations that can handle complex 3D rendering with multiple processors and 384 GB of RAM. Their IT consultant recommends Windows 10 Pro for workstations. What specific advantage does this edition offer for their scenario compared to regular Pro? A. Support for more monitor connections. B. Better performance with SMB, direct and persistent memory. C. Exclusive access to professional 3D rendering software. D. Longer support lifecycle and fewer updates. Can you guess the answer? Correct answer, B. Better performance with SMB, direct and persistent memory. Explanation. Option B is correct because Windows 10 Pro for workstations specifically includes performance features like SMB, direct and persistent memory support that benefit high-end workstations used for tasks like 3D rendering. Option A is incorrect because monitor connection capabilities are primarily determined by hardware, not Windows Edition. Option C is incorrect because software compatibility is not determined by Windows Edition. The same professional software runs on Pro and Pro for workstations. Option D is incorrect because support lifecycle and update frequency are not significant differentiators between Pro and Pro for workstations. 3. A technician is examining a mobile device that has sluggish performance and shows full-screen advertisements even when no apps are open. Some of these ads claim the device is infected and offer to clean it for a fee. What type of security issue is this most likely to be? A. The device's antivirus subscription has expired. B. The operating system needs critical security updates. C. The device has adware displaying fake security warnings. D. A legitimate security app is detecting actual viruses. Can you guess the answer? Correct answer, C. The device has adware displaying fake security warnings. Explanation. Option C is correct because the symptoms described, unsolicited ads appearing outside of apps and fake security warnings offering paid cleaning services, are classic characteristics of adware combined with scareware tactics. This is a common security issue, where malicious apps display intrusive ads and use fake warnings to frighten users into paying for unnecessary services. Option A is incorrect, because expired antivirus subscriptions don't typically cause advertisements to appear. They might show renewal notifications, but these would be from the legitimate antivirus app itself, not full-screen ads appearing when no apps are open. Option B is incorrect, because while outdated operating systems may have security vulnerabilities, simply needing updates wouldn't directly cause the appearance of advertisements and fake security warnings. These are symptoms of malware already on the device, not missing updates. Option D is incorrect, because legitimate security apps don't display intrusive full-screen advertisements or use scare tactics to sell services. They provide clear, specific information about threats without the manipulative behaviors described in the scenario. Additionally, legitimate security notifications would appear within the security app, not when no apps are open. 4. An IT manager wants to ensure that all employees understand and agree to the organization's rules regarding appropriate use of company computers. Which document should the manager create and have employees sign? A. Standard operating procedure. B. Acceptable use policy. C. Network topology. Diagram. D. Incident report. Template. Do you know the answer? Correct answer. B. Acceptable use policy. Explanation. Option B is correct because an acceptable use policy specifically defines the rules and guidelines for appropriate use of company IT resources. Having employees read and sign this document ensures they understand expectations and creates documentation of their agreement to follow these rules. Option A is incorrect because a standard operating procedure provides step-by-step instructions for technical processes and operations. While important for IT staff, SOPs don't establish usage rules for general employees and aren't typically signed by all staff. Option C is incorrect because a network topology diagram is a visual representation of how network devices are connected. It's a technical reference that doesn't define appropriate use guidelines and wouldn't be something employees would sign. Option D is incorrect because an incident report template is used to document security incidents or major outages after they occur. It doesn't establish rules for appropriate technology use and isn't a document that would be signed by employees during onboarding. 5. During a security audit, an organization needs to provide documentation showing when company laptops were issued to employees and who has possession of each device. Which of the following documentation would best provide this information? A. Network topology diagrams. B. Assigned user records in the asset management system. C. Software license agreements. D. Acceptable use policies. Can you guess the answer? Correct answer. B. Assigned user records in the asset management system. Explanation. Option B is correct because assigned user records in the asset management system are specifically designed to track which users have been assigned which assets, when the assignment occurred, and acknowledgement of receipt. This provides the exact documentation needed to show laptop distribution and current possession. Option A is incorrect because network topology diagrams show the arrangement and connections of network devices. They don't typically include information about which users have been assigned, which laptops, or when those assignments occurred. Option C is incorrect because software license agreements document the terms of software usage and how many licenses the organization owns. They don't track which physical devices are assigned to which employees, or when those assignments occurred. Option D is incorrect, because acceptable use policies define the rules for appropriate use of company technology. While users might sign these policies, standard AUPs don't typically document which specific devices are assigned to which users or include assignment dates. 6. A technician needs to create a new partition on a newly installed second hard drive in a Windows 10 workstation. The drive is installed correctly, but doesn't appear in File Explorer. Which tool should be used to make this drive usable? A. Disk Cleanup. B. Disk Management. C. Device Manager. D. Storage Spaces. Do you know the answer? Correct answer, B. Disk Management. Explanation. Option B is correct because disk management is specifically designed for tasks like initializing new disks, creating partitions, formatting volumes, and assigning drive letters, all steps necessary to make a new physical drive appear in File Explorer and become usable. Option A is incorrect because disk cleanup removes unnecessary files to free up space on existing drives, but cannot initialize or partition new drives. Option C is incorrect because, while Device Manager manages device drivers and could confirm the drive is properly detected by the system, it doesn't provide functionality to partition or format drives. Option D is incorrect because Storage Spaces is for creating resilient storage pools across multiple drives, which is an advanced feature, and not the appropriate first step for simply making a new drive usable. 7. A company is planning to replace their core network switch. Which of the following would be most effective in reducing the risk of unexpected downtime during this change? A. Scheduling the change during business hours when staff is available. B. Testing the exact change procedure in a sandbox environment first. C. Ordering multiple replacement switches from different vendors. D. Having users save their work frequently during the change window. Do you know the answer? Correct answer, B. Testing the exact change procedure in a sandbox environment first. Explanation. Option B is correct because testing the exact change procedure in a sandbox environment allows technicians to identify potential issues, refine the implementation steps, and practice the change before applying it to the production environment. This significantly reduces the risk of unexpected problems during the actual change. Option A is incorrect because scheduling during business hours would actually increase impact if problems occur. Most high-risk changes are performed during off hours to minimize disruption, with necessary staff scheduled to be available regardless of time. Option C is incorrect because while having backup equipment can be helpful, having multiple switches from different vendors introduces compatibility complications and doesn't address procedural problems that might occur during implementation. Option D is incorrect because having users save work frequently doesn't reduce the risk of network downtime. It only minimizes data loss if downtime occurs. Additionally, during a core switch replacement, network services would be unavailable, preventing users from saving work. 8. A user reports that when they insert an SD card into their laptop, no autoplay dialog appears, and they have to manually browse to view the files. Which control panel utility should be used to fix this issue? A. Device Manager. B. Autoplay. C. Devices and printers. D. Default programs. What do you think is the answer? Correct answer, B. Autoplay. Explanation. Option B is correct because autoplay is the specific control panel utility that manages what happens when media and devices are inserted into the computer Using autoplay settings, you can configure what action Windows should take when an SD card is inserted, such as opening File Explorer or prompting for user action. Option A is incorrect, because Device Manager manages hardware devices and drivers, but doesn't control autoplay behavior. Option C is incorrect, because while Devices and Printers shows connected devices, it doesn't directly manage the autoplay functionality when devices are first connected. Option D is incorrect, because Default Programs configures which applications open specific file types, but doesn't control the initial autoplay behavior when media is inserted. 9. A technician has completed a server operating system upgrade according to the approved change plan. What document should be updated to reflect the current configuration of the server for future reference? A. The risk analysis. B. The change request form. C. The system documentation. D. The sandbox testing results. Can you guess the answer? Correct answer: C. The system documentation. Explanation. Option C is correct because system documentation should be updated after any significant change to reflect the current configuration, software versions, settings, and other important details. This ensures that accurate information is available for future troubleshooting, planning, and reference. Option A is incorrect because the risk analysis is part of the pre-change planning and doesn't need updating after successful implementation. It served its purpose during the planning phase. Option B is incorrect because while the change request form should be closed or updated to show completion, it's not the primary document that should reflect the current system configuration for future reference. Option D is incorrect because sandbox testing results document the pre-implementation testing and, while valuable to retain, these don't serve as the ongoing system documentation after the change has been implemented in production. 10. A technician is configuring a backup system that will best protect against the risk of ransomware. Which of the following characteristics is most important for this specific threat? A. Encrypting all backup data with strong algorithms. B. Storing backups offline or in write-once media. C. Using only incremental backups for efficiency. D. Performing backups during business hours. Do you know the answer? Correct answer: B. Storing backups offline or in write-once media. Explanation. Option B is correct because ransomware often attempts to locate and encrypt or delete backups that are accessible from the infected system. Storing backups offline or using write-once media provides the best protection against ransomware specifically, as these backups cannot be accessed or modified by the malware. Option A is incorrect because while encrypting backups is good security practice, it doesn't specifically protect against ransomware, which would encrypt the already encrypted backups or make them inaccessible regardless of their encryption status. Option C is incorrect because the type of backup doesn't impact ransomware protection. In fact, having only incremental backups could make recovery more complex if any part of the backup chain is compromised. Option D is incorrect because the timing of backups doesn't significantly impact ransomware protection. In fact, performing backups during business hours might increase network load during peak times and wouldn't provide any specific protection against ransomware. 12. An IT technician needs to access a shared folder on a remote computer named Accounting on the Network. Which path format should the technician use in File Explorer's address bar? A. http://accounting/shared folder. B. Accounting/share folder. C. ftp/accounting/share CompTIA folder. D/net/accounting/shared folder. What do you think is the answer? Correct answer. B. Accounting. Shared folder. Explanation. Option B is correct because the Universal Naming Convention, UNC path, format for accessing network shares in Windows, is computer name/share name. This is the proper syntax to access a shared folder named shared folder on a computer named accounting. Option A is incorrect because HTTP format is used for web addresses, not for accessing Windows shared folders. Option C is incorrect because FTP format is used for file transfer protocol servers, not for accessing Windows shared folders. Option D is incorrect because this path format is not recognized by Windows for accessing network shares. 12. A mobile user with a limited data plan needs to prevent Windows from downloading large updates while connected to their mobile hotspot. Which setting should they configure? A. Data saver in Edge browser. B. Set the connection as metered. C. Enable airplane mode. D. Configure the VPN to block updates. What do you think is the answer? Correct answer. B. Set the connection as metered. Explanation. Option B is correct because setting a connection as metered informs Windows that the data plan has limitations. Windows then reduces data usage by delaying or limiting Windows updates, restricting background data usage by apps, and reducing OneDrive syncing activities. Option A is incorrect because Data Saver in Edge only reduces data usage for web browsing, not system-wide activities like Windows updates. Option C is incorrect because enabling airplane mode would disable all wireless communications, preventing not just updates, but all network connectivity. Option D is incorrect because a VPN doesn't typically include update blocking functionality. It creates a secure tunnel for network traffic, but doesn't control whether updates are downloaded. 13. A technician needs to install legacy financial software on new computers running Windows 10 64-bit. The software was designed for Windows 7 32-bit. After installation, the software crashes on startup. Which approach is most likely to resolve the compatibility issue? A. Run the software in compatibility mode for Windows 7. B. Install additional RAM in the computer. C. Update the graphics drivers. D. Run the software with administrator privileges only. What do you think is the answer? Correct answer. A. Run the software in compatibility mode for Windows 7. Explanation. Option A is correct because compatibility mode is specifically designed to help legacy applications run on newer Windows versions by emulating aspects of the older operating system environment. For software designed for Windows 7, running on Windows 10, compatibility mode is the most appropriate first solution. Option B is incorrect because adding RAM doesn't address compatibility issues between different Windows versions, and modern systems typically have more than enough RAM for legacy applications. Option C is incorrect because graphics driver updates rarely resolve compatibility issues with legacy software unless the application is specifically graphics intensive. Option D is incorrect because while some applications do require administrator privileges, this alone wouldn't address the fundamental compatibility differences between Windows 7 and Windows 10 that are causing the crashes. 14. A design firm is upgrading their computers for a new version of professional graphics software. The software requirements specify Windows 10, 32 GB RAM, and a GPU with 8 GB VRAM. Which component upgrade would provide the most significant performance improvement for this application? A. Upgrading from a 512 GB SSD to a 1 TB SSD. B. Upgrading from a 6-core CPU to an 8-core CPU. C. Upgrading from 16 GB RAM to 32 GB RAM. D. Upgrading from integrated graphics to a dedicated GPU with 8 GB VRAM. Do you know the answer? Correct answer. D. Upgrading from integrated graphics to a dedicated GPU with 8 GB VRAM. Explanation. Option D is correct because upgrading from integrated graphics to a dedicated GPU with 8 GB VRAM addresses the most critical requirement for graphics software. Professional graphics applications rely heavily on GPU processing and VRAM for rendering, and integrated graphics would be completely inadequate, lacking both of the processing power and dedicated VRAM needed. Option A is incorrect because while more storage is helpful, increasing SSD capacity from 512 GB to 1 TB doesn't significantly impact application performance once minimum space requirements are met. Option B is incorrect because while more CPU cores can help with certain tasks, the difference between 6 and 8 cores would be less impactful than addressing the lack of a dedicated GPU, especially for graphics software. Option C is incorrect because while meeting the RAM requirement is important, the upgrade from integrated graphics to a dedicated GPU would have a much more dramatic performance impact for graphics software. 15. A technician is formatting a new 4 TB hard drive that will only be used with Windows computers and will store sensitive company data. Which file system should they choose? A. FAT32, B. exFAT, C. NTFS, D. ext4. What do you think is the answer? Correct answer, C. NTFS. Explanation. Option C is correct because NTFS provides security features like file and folder permissions, encryption support, and journaling, making it ideal for storing sensitive company data. It also supports the 4 TB volume size and is the standard for Windows systems. Option A is incorrect because FAT32 has a 2 TB volume size limitation, making it unsuitable for a 4 TB drive, and it lacks built-in security features for sensitive data. Option B is incorrect because while exFAT supports large volumes, it lacks the security features necessary for protecting sensitive company data. Option D is incorrect because ext4 is a Linux file system not natively supported by Windows, requiring third-party tools to access. 16. A company needs to replace their Windows 7 computers that have reached EOL but cannot afford to upgrade all hardware. Some older computers don't meet the minimum requirements for Windows 10. Which operating system would be the most appropriate alternative for these older computers while maintaining security? A. Windows 8.1, B. Chrome OS, C. Mac OS, D. Linux. Can you guess the answer? Correct answer, D. Linux. Explanation. Option D is correct because Linux distributions like Ubuntu or Linux Mint have lower hardware requirements than Windows 10, can run on older hardware, and continue to receive security updates, making them a viable, secure alternative for older computers that can't run modern Windows versions. Option A is incorrect because Windows 8.1 is also approaching EOL and would only temporarily solve the problem. Option B is incorrect because Chrome OS cannot be officially installed on standard PC hardware. It requires Chromebooks or specific hardware. Option C is incorrect because macOS only runs on Apple hardware and cannot be legally installed on the company's existing Windows computers. (17) A technician needs to install Windows on a laptop with very limited internet access. Which installation consideration is most important in this scenario? A. Using the latest installation media with all updates included. B. Having necessary hardware drivers available on separate media. C. Configuring proxy settings during installation. D. Using a Microsoft account for activation. What do you think is the answer? Correct answer: B. Having necessary hardware drivers available on separate media. Explanation: Option B is correct because having necessary hardware drivers available on separate media is critical when internet access is limited. Without these drivers, hardware may not function properly, and the limited internet access could make downloading drivers afterwards difficult or impossible. Option A is incorrect because while using updated installation media is good practice, the primary concern with limited internet access is ensuring all necessary drivers are available offline. Option C is incorrect because configuring proxy settings is only relevant if the limited internet access is through a proxy server, which is not specified in the scenario. Option D is incorrect because Windows can be activated later, or through alternative means, if internet access is limited during installation. 18. A technician needs to upgrade multiple computers from Windows 10 to the latest feature update. What should be considered before proceeding? A. The Windows 10 license type on each machine. B. Application compatibility with the new feature update. C. Whether the computers have UEFI or legacy BIOS. D. The type of Microsoft account used on each computer. What do you think is the answer? Correct answer: B. Application compatibility with the new feature update. Explanation: Option B is correct because application compatibility is a critical consideration before deploying feature updates. Some applications may not work properly with newer Windows 10 versions, and verifying compatibility prevents productivity disruptions after the update. Option A is incorrect because Windows 10 license type generally doesn't affect feature update eligibility within the same edition. Option C is incorrect because UEFI versus legacy BIOS is primarily relevant for clean installations or OS upgrades, not for feature updates within Windows 10. Option D is incorrect because the type of Microsoft account NOS used typically doesn't impact the feature update process itself, although some features might require a Microsoft account to function. 19. Which file format is typically used for application installers on macOS that run an installation? Wizard. A. .tap, B. .emg, C. TKG, D. .x. What do you think is the answer? Correct answer: C. .tpkg. Explanation: Option C is correct because .tkg files are package installer to files that run an installation wizard on macOS. They follow a step-by-step installation process, may require administrator authentication, and often install files in multiple locations, not just the applications folder. Option A is incorrect because app files are the actual applications themselves, not installers. Option B is incorrect because DMG files are disk image containers that typically use a drag-and-drop installation method rather than running an installation wizard. Option D is incorrect because TLX ER files are Windows executable files and are not native to Mac OS. 20. A corporate Mac user needs to preview a file without opening the application that created it. Which Mac OS feature should they use? A. Quick Look. B. Preview. C. Spotlight. D. Cover Flow. What do you think is the answer? Correct answer. A. Quick Look. Explanation. Option A is correct because Quick Look is the Mac OS feature that allows users to preview files without opening them in their associated applications. Users can select a file in Finder and press the spacebar to instantly view the contents, which is especially useful for documents, images, videos, and PDFs. Option B is incorrect because Preview is a separate application for viewing PDFs and images, not a quick preview feature. Option C is incorrect because while Spotlight can show file previews and search results, it's primarily a search tool, not specifically designed for previewing files. Option D is incorrect because Cover Flow is a viewing option in Finder that shows visual previews while browsing, but it doesn't provide the detailed preview functionality of Quick Look. 21. A Linux user needs to search for the string error in a large log file and display the lines containing that string. Which command should they use? A. Find logfile.log, text error. B. Search T error, logfile.log. C. grep error logfile.log. D. cat logfile.log error. What do you think is the answer? Correct answer. C. grep error logfile.log. Explanation. Option C is correct because grep error logfile.log searches for the pattern error within the specified file and displays all lines containing that pattern. This is the standard command for text pattern searching in Linux. Option A is incorrect because find is used to search for files and directories based on criteria, not for text patterns within files. Option B is incorrect because there is no standard search command in Linux. Option D is incorrect because this command is syntactically invalid. While cat would display the file contents, the pipe operator must be followed by another command, not a string. 22. A Linux administrator needs to determine which process is consuming excessive CPU resources. Which command should they use to view real-time process information sorted by resource usage? A. ps aux. B. netstat. C. top d. kill l. Can you guess the answer? Correct answer. C. top. Explanation. Option C is correct because top provides a real-time interactive view of running processes sorted by resource usage. It continuously updates and allows administrators to monitor a system performance and identify resource-intensive processes. Option A is incorrect because while ps-soc shows a detailed list of all processes, it only provides a static snapshot at the moment the command is run, not continuous real-time monitoring. Option B is incorrect because netstat displays network connections, routing tables, and network interface statistics, not process resource usage. Option D is incorrect because kill@l lists available signal names and numbers that can be sent to processes. It doesn't display process information or resource usage. 23. A security administrator needs to organize users in Active Directory to apply different security policies based on departments. Which Active Directory feature should they use? A. Security groups. B. Organizational units. C. Home folders. D. Domains. Can you guess the answer? Correct answer. And B. Organizational units. Explanation. Option B is correct because organizational units are containers within Active Directory designed to organize users and computers into logical administrative groups, often reflecting organizational structure. Group policy can then be applied to specific OUs to enforce different security policies for different departments. Option A is incorrect because while security groups can grant permissions, they're primarily for access control rather than organizational structure and policy application. Option C is incorrect because home folders are for personal file storage, not organizational structure. Option D is incorrect because domains are much broader divisions that typically encompass an entire organization, not individual departments. 24. A company wants to implement a physical security measure that will create a secure entry point where only one person at a time can enter, preventing unauthorized individuals from following authorized personnel. Which security control should they implement? A. Badge readers. B. Access control vestibule. C. Door locks. D. Motion sensors. Do you know the answer? Correct answer. B. Access control vestibule. Explanation. Option B is correct because an access control vestibule is specifically designed with two interlocking doors, where only one can be open at a time. This physically prevents tailgating by ensuring each person must authenticate individually. Option A is incorrect because while badge readers authenticate individuals, they don't physically prevent unauthorized people from following authorized personnel through doors. Option C is incorrect because standard door locks don't prevent tailgating once an authorized person unlocks the door. Option D is incorrect because motion sensors detect movement, but don't physically control access or prevent tailgating. (25) Which encryption protocol was designed as a temporary security fix for WEP's weaknesses, but is now considered outdated and should only be used when absolutely necessary for legacy device compatibility? A. AES. B. TKIP. C. CCMP. D. SHA-256. Can you guess the answer? Correct answer. B. TKIP. Explanation. Option B is correct because TKIP was specifically developed as a quick replacement for WEP to address its security flaws. It was intended as a temporary measure and has been superseded by more secure encryption methods. Today, it should only be used when legacy devices cannot support newer encryption. Option A is incorrect because AES is a strong, modern encryption algorithm still recommended for current use. Option C is incorrect because CCMP is the secure encryption protocol that uses AES and WPA2. It's the replacement for TKIP, not what was replaced. Option D is incorrect because SHA-256 is a cryptographic hash function, not a wireless encryption protocol used to replace WEP. 26. A financial institution needs to implement wireless networks with a focus on maintaining the confidentiality of previously transmitted data, even if the current security keys are compromised. Which wireless security protocol has this capability built in? A. WPA2 Personal. B. WPA2 Enterprise with AES. C. WPA3. D. WEP with 128-bit keys. Do you know the answer? Correct answer. C. WPA3. Explanation. Option C is correct because WPA3 introduces forward secrecy, which protects previously transmitted data, even if the current encryption keys are compromised. This means that if an attacker obtains the current keys, they still cannot decrypt data that was transmitted in previous sessions. Option A is incorrect because WPA2 Personal doesn't provide forward secrecy, making previously transmitted data vulnerable if the pre-shared key is compromised. Option B is incorrect because although WPA2 Enterprise with AES provides strong encryption, it doesn't include the forward secrecy feature found in WPA3. Option D is incorrect because WEP is fundamentally insecure and easily broken regardless of key length, offering no protection for current or previously transmitted data. (27) A technician has determined that a computer is infected with malware that cannot be removed by standard methods, and the malware has likely compromised system files. Which of the following is the most appropriate solution? A. Roll back to a previous restore point. B. Update antivirus and run in safe mode. C. Reinstall the operating system. D. Run a registry cleaner. Do you know the answer? Correct answer. C. Reinstall the operating system. Explanation. Option C is correct because when malware has compromised system files and cannot be removed by standard methods, reinstalling the operating system provides the most reliable solution. This ensures complete removal of the malware and restoration of system integrity. Option A is incorrect because rolling back to a previous restore point might not eliminate the malware if it was present at that time, or if it infected areas not protected by system restore. Option B is incorrect because if standard removal methods have already failed, simply updating antivirus and running in safe mode is unlikely to succeed against malware that has compromised system files. Option D is incorrect because registry cleaners are not designed for malware removal and could potentially cause system instability without addressing the compromised system files. (28) After removing malware from a user's computer, what is the final step in the malware removal process, according to CompTIA's recommended procedure? A. Run Windows Update. B. Reboot the system. C. Educate the user. D. Create a system restore point. What do you think is the answer? Correct answer. C. Educate the user. Explanation. Option C is correct because end-of-life operating systems are those no longer supported or receiving security updates from the vendor. Windows 7 reached EOL status when Microsoft ended support, creating a permanent security vulnerability, as new exploits will never be patched. Option A is incorrect because while these systems may also be non-compliant, the specific vulnerability described is their EOL status. Option B is incorrect because the issue isn't a lack of security software, but rather that the operating system itself is no longer supported. Option D is incorrect because unpatched systems are missing specific security updates that are available, whereas EOL systems cannot be patched because updates no longer exist. (29) An employee at a coffee shop notices someone watching intently as they type their password on their laptop. What type of social engineering attack is this? A. Shoulder surfing. B. Tailgating. C. Impersonation. D. Vishing. Can you guess the answer? Correct answer. A. Shoulder surfing. Explanation. Option A is correct because shoulder surfing involves physically observing someone as they enter sensitive information. The scenario describes someone watching the employee type their password, which is classic shoulder surfing. Option B is incorrect because tailgating involves following someone through a physical access control point, not observing them enter information. Option C is incorrect because impersonation involves pretending to be someone else, which isn't happening in this scenario. Option D is incorrect because vishing uses phone calls to trick people into revealing information, not in-person observation. 30. A Windows workstation in a high-security environment requires protection against unauthorized system changes at the firmware level. Which security measure should be implemented? A. Windows login password. B. BIOS UEFI password. C. Guest account. Password. D. Screen. Lock password. Can you guess the answer? Correct answer, B. BIOS UEFI password. Explanation. Option B is correct because a BIOS UEFI password prevents unauthorized access to firmware settings, which could otherwise be used to bypass operating system security. Option A is incorrect because a Windows login password only protects access at the operating system level, not at the firmware level below the operating system. Option C is incorrect because the guest account should be disabled in secure environments, not protected with a password. Option D is incorrect because a screen lock password only protects access when the system is already running and the screen is locked, not at the firmware level. Struggling with your IT certification exams? We've all been there. Welcome to MyITCerts.com, your ultimate resource for IT exam success. Find over 15,000 plus questions and answers. Join our thriving community of over 10,000 plus active students and the impressive 100% success rate with our premium exam support. Visit MyITCerts.com today and take first step towards guaranteed success. 31. A company encrypts USB drives containing sensitive data using BitLocker to go. What should be done with the recovery keys to ensure data can be accessed if the password is forgotten? A. Store them on the same USB drive. B. Write them on the USB drive with a marker. C. Don't save them to maintain security. D. Store them securely in a separate location. Do you know the answer? Correct answer, D. Store them securely in a separate location. Explanation. Option D is correct because recovery keys should be stored securely in a separate location from the encrypted drive. This ensures that if a password is forgotten, the data can still be recovered, while maintaining security if the drive is lost or stolen. Option A is incorrect because storing recovery keys on the same drive, they're meant to unlock defeats the purpose of encryption. If someone has the drive, they would also have the keys. Option B is incorrect because writing recovery keys directly on the drive makes them immediately available to anyone who has physical possession of the drive. Option C is incorrect because not saving recovery keys at all would make it impossible to recover data if passwords are forgotten, potentially resulting in permanent data loss. 32. Which of the following represents the most comprehensive approach to workstation security? A. Installing antivirus software and a firewall. B. Using encryption and complex passwords. C. Implementing multiple layers of security. D. Creating administrator accounts for all users. Do you know the answer? Correct answer, C. Implementing multiple layers of security. Explanation. Option C is correct because implementing multiple layers of security provides comprehensive protection by combining various security measures. If one layer fails, others still provide protection. A comprehensive approach includes physical security, encryption, account security, access controls, user training, and more. Option A is incorrect because it addresses only specific security threats and lacks important components like encryption and user controls. Option B is incorrect because focuses on important but limited aspects of security without addressing the full spectrum of security needs. Option D is incorrect because actually decreases security by giving users excessive permissions, contradicting the principle of least privilege. 33. An employee frequently works with sensitive documents on their workstation. Which method should they use to protect specific confidential files rather than encrypting the entire drive? A. Hide the files using the hidden attribute. B. Use encrypting file system for the sensitive files. C. Store the files in a password-protected zip archive. D. Rename the files with obscure file names. What do you think is the answer? Do you know the answer? Correct answer. B. Use encrypting file system for the sensitive files. Explanation. Option B is correct because encrypting file system is designed specifically to encrypt individual files and folders while leaving the rest of the system unencrypted. It integrates with Windows security, using the user's credentials for transparent encryption and decryption of only the files that need protection. Option A is incorrect because merely hides files from casual browsing, but provides no actual security. Hidden files can be easily revealed. Option C is incorrect because provides some protection, but is less secure and less convenient than EFS, requiring manual extraction each time the files are needed. Option D is incorrect because is security through obscurity, which provides virtually no real protection. It only makes files harder to identify, but doesn't secure the content. (34) What is the best practice for securing IoT devices that cannot be updated with security patches? A. Reset the devices to factory settings monthly. B. Place the devices on a separate network segment, isolated from critical systems. C. Install third-party security software on each device. D. Configure a standard corporate proxy for all IoT traffic. What do you think is the answer? Correct answer. B. Place the devices on a separate network segment isolated from critical systems. Explanation. Option B is correct because network isolation contains the risk posed by vulnerable IoT devices that cannot be updated. By placing these devices on a separate network segment, you prevent them from being used to attack or access more critical systems and data, effectively containing any potential compromise. Option A is incorrect because resetting to factory settings would typically return devices to their vulnerable state and disrupt their functionality without improving security. Option C is incorrect because most IoT devices don't support installation of third-party security software due to their limited operating systems and resources. Option D is incorrect because while a proxy might monitor traffic, it doesn't effectively isolate vulnerable devices from critical systems and may not be compatible with many IoT protocols. 35. A healthcare organization needs to provide tablets to nurses for accessing electronic health records. Which combination of security features is most appropriate for these devices? A. Strong passwords, full disk encryption, remote wipe capability, and automatic screen locks. B. Pattern locks, antivirus software, and firewall. C. Facial recognition, remote backup, and device encryption. D. 4-digit pins, remote tracking, and automatic OS updates. What do you think is the answer? Correct answer. A. Strong passwords, full disk encryption, remote wipe capability, and automatic screen locks. Explanation. Option A is correct because this combination provides comprehensive protection appropriate for devices containing protected health information. Strong passwords prevent unauthorized access. Encryption protects data if devices are stolen. Remote wipe allows deletion of sensitive data if needed. And automatic screen locks ensure devices aren't left accessible when unattended. Option B is incorrect because pattern locks are generally less secure than strong passwords or biometrics for devices with sensitive healthcare data. Option C is incorrect because while the features mentioned are useful, facial recognition alone without a PIN backup might not be reliable in all healthcare environments, particularly in varying lighting conditions. Option D is incorrect because 4-digit PINs provide insufficient security for devices containing protected health information, as they have only 10,000 possible combinations. 36. An IT manager discovers a stack of old CDs and DVDs containing company information in a storage closet. What is the most appropriate method to destroy the data on these optical discs? A. Degaussing each disk. B. Running disk wiping software. C. Physical shredding or breaking. D. Formatting the disks. Can you guess the answer? Correct answer. C. Physical shredding or breaking. Explanation. Option C is correct because physical shredding or breaking is the most effective way to destroy data on optical media like CDs and DVDs. Since optical discs store data in physical pits on the disk surface, physically destroying the media is the only way to ensure data cannot be recovered. Option A is incorrect because degaussing only works on magnetic media, and CDs, DVDs are optical media that don't use magnetic particles to store data, making degaussing completely ineffective. Option B is incorrect because standard disk wiping software cannot typically erase data on read-only optical media like most CDs and DVDs, as these are often write-once media. Option D is incorrect because optical discs generally cannot be formatted after data has been written to them, especially if they are write-once discs, making this option technically impossible. 37. A bank is replacing a failed SSD that contained customer financial records. The IT department can't access the drive through normal means. Which of the following approaches should they recommend to ensure compliance with financial data protection regulations? A. Store the drive in the bank vault indefinitely. B. Hire a data recovery service to repair the drive, then wipe it. C. Use professional destruction services with certification documentation. D. Perform a Department of Defense. Wipe and then recycle the drive. What do you think is the answer? Correct answer. C. Use professional destruction services with certification documentation. Explanation. Option C is correct because using professional destruction services that provide certification documentation ensures the financial data is properly destroyed and provides the necessary proof of destruction required for regulatory compliance in the banking industry. Option A is incorrect because storing the failed drive indefinitely creates an ongoing security risk and doesn't actually resolve the data protection issue. It also doesn't provide documentation of data destruction for compliance purposes. Option B is incorrect because attempting data recovery increases the risk of exposure. If the recovery service successfully repairs the drive, the financial data could potentially be accessed before wiping, creating unnecessary risk. Option D is incorrect because DoD wiping requires a functioning drive. Since the scenario states the drive has failed and can't be accessed through normal means, wiping isn't possible, making this option technically infeasible. 38. A small business wants to allow employees to access the company file server when working from home. Which of the following combinations provides the most secure remote access solution? A. Static 1 IP address, port forwarding on port 445, WPA2 encryption. B. Dynamic 1 IP address, place server in DMZ, use strong passwords. C. Static 1 IP address, VPN server, WPA3 encryption, disable UPnP. D. Dynamic 1 IP address, enable UPnP, standard port forwarding. Can you guess the answer? Correct answer. C. Static 1 IP address, VPN server, WPA3 encryption, disable UPnP. Explanation. Option C is correct because it provides multiple layers of security. A static 1 IP for consistent access, a VPN server to create an encrypted tunnel for all remote traffic, WPA3 encryption for secure wireless connections, and disabled UPnP to prevent automatic port opening. This comprehensive approach secures both remote access and the local network. Option A is incorrect because directly exposing SMB file sharing to the internet is extremely dangerous. This port is frequently targeted by attackers, and directly forwarding it would create a significant security vulnerability. Option B is incorrect because placing the server in a DMZ removes most firewall protections, exposing it directly to internet threats. While a DMZ is appropriate for public-facing servers, like web servers, it's too risky for a file server containing business data. Option D is incorrect because enabling UPnP creates security vulnerabilities by allowing automatic port forwarding, and using standard port forwarding without a VPN leaves traffic unencrypted and potentially exposes services to direct attacks. 39. A technician is troubleshooting a wireless network where unauthorized users have been connecting despite having a strong WPA3 password. Which of the following is most likely the source of the vulnerability? A. The router is still using the default administrator password. B. The firmware is outdated with known security vulnerabilities. C. The router's physical reset button is easily accessible. D. UPnP is enabled on the network. Do you know the answer? Correct answer. A. The router is still using the default administrator password. Explanation. Option A is correct because if the default administrator password hasn't been changed, unauthorized users could access the router's administration panel and view or change the Wi-Fi password, regardless of how strong it was set initially. Default passwords are widely published online and are the first thing attackers try. Option B is incorrect because it's plausible but less likely to be the direct cause. While outdated firmware could contain vulnerabilities, directly exploiting these to crack WPA3 would require sophisticated attacks. It's more likely an attacker would use the default admin password to access the router settings. Option C is incorrect because physical access to the reset button would return the router to factory settings, alerting the legitimate users that something was wrong when their device is disconnected. This method would be obvious and disruptive, not allowing ongoing unauthorized access. Option D is incorrect because while UPnP is a security vulnerability, it relates to automatic port forwarding and doesn't typically provide a method for bypassing Wi-Fi encryption. UPnP wouldn't give attackers the ability to connect to a WPA3 protected network without the password. 40. A user frequently works with highly sensitive documents online. Which combination of browser security practices would best protect their data? A. Use private browsing, verify HTTPS connections, and limit extensions to only essential ones from trusted sources. B. Save all passwords in the browser. Enable automatic form filling and use any extension that seems helpful. C. Allow pop-ups from all sites, keep the browser version outdated for stability, and enable browser synchronization across all devices. D. Disable automatic updates. Use HTTP sites to avoid certificate issues and install extensions directly from developer websites. What do you think is the answer? Correct answer. A. Use private browsing, verify HTTPS connections, and limit extensions to only essential ones from trusted sources. Explanation. Option A is correct because it combines multiple effective security practices. Private browsing prevents local storage of sensitive data. Verifying HTTPS ensures encrypted connections, and limiting extensions reduces the risk of data exposure through potentially malicious add-ons. Option B is incorrect because automatically saving passwords and form data in the browser creates a security risk if someone else gains access to the browser or device. Installing any helpful-seeming extension increases the attack surface unnecessarily. Option C is incorrect because allowing all pop-ups exposes the user to potential malicious content. Outdated browsers contain known security vulnerabilities, and synchronizing sensitive browsing data across multiple devices increases the attack surface. Option D is incorrect because disabling automatic updates prevents security patches from being applied. Using HTTP sites transmits data unencrypted, and installing extensions from outside official stores bypasses security vetting processes. 41. A company wants to improve security when employees access the corporate portal from home computers. Which browser setting should they advise employees to check before logging in? A. That ad blockers are disabled to ensure full functionality. B. That the URL shows HTTPS and displays a valid certificate. C. That JavaScript is disabled for all websites. D. That the browser is in private browsing mode. Can you guess the answer? Correct answer. B. That the URL shows HTTPS and displays a valid certificate. Explanation. Option B is correct because checking for HTTPS and a valid certificate ensures that the connection to the corporate portal is encrypted and that the site is authentic. This protects login credentials and sensitive data from interception and verifies employees are connecting to the legitimate corporate portal rather than a phishing site. Option A is incorrect because disabling ad blockers could actually decrease security by allowing potentially malicious advertisements. Ad blockers generally don't interfere with legitimate corporate portal functionality. Option C is incorrect because disabling JavaScript would likely break functionality on most modern web applications, including corporate portals. While this might increase security in some scenarios, it would make most corporate portals unusable. Option D is incorrect because while private browsing has certain privacy benefits, it doesn't enhance the security of the connection to the corporate portal. Private browsing primarily prevents local storage of browsing data, but doesn't affect network security or authentication. 42. After a Windows feature update, a user discovers that their webcam no longer works in any application. The device shows as working properly in Device Manager. Which of the following is the most appropriate action to resolve this issue? A. Roll back the Windows feature update. B. Update the webcam drivers. C. Run System File Checker. D. Perform a clean boot to identify software conflicts. What do you think is the answer? Correct answer. A. Roll back the Windows feature update. Explanation. Option A is correct because the problem directly correlates with the Windows feature update, and the device still shows as working properly in Device Manager. Feature updates occasionally break device compatibility, despite devices appearing functional in Device Manager. Rolling back the update is the most direct solution to restore previous functionality. Option B is incorrect, because while updating drivers is generally good practice, the fact that the issue began immediately after a Windows feature update suggests the update itself is the problem, rather than outdated drivers. Additionally, if Device Manager shows the device as working properly, driver issues might not be detected. Option C is incorrect because System File Checker repairs corrupted system files, but this issue is more likely related to compatibility changes introduced by the feature update, rather than file corruption. SFC wouldn't address compatibility issues introduced by design changes. Option D is incorrect, because a clean boot helps identify software conflicts with third-party applications, but the correlation with the Windows feature update points to an OS-level compatibility issue, rather than third-party software interference. 43. A user complains that programs take a long time to load, and the computer feels sluggish overall. When checking the system, a technician notices that the hard drive light is constantly blinking, and Task Manager shows disk usage frequently at 100%. Which of the following is the most likely cause of this problem? A. The CPU is overheating and throttling performance. B. RAM is insufficient for the workload. C. The hard drive is failing or heavily fragmented. D. Too many browser tabs are open simultaneously. Do you know the answer? Correct answer: C. The hard drive is failing or heavily fragmented. Explanation: Option C is correct because constant high disk usage, 100%, combined without the hard drive. Light constantly blinking strongly indicates either a failing hard drive or severe fragmentation. These symptoms suggest the disk is struggling to read/write data efficiently, which directly explains the slow program loading and overall sluggishness. Option A is incorrect because CPU throttling due to overheating would primarily show as reduced CPU performance rather than constant disk activity. Task Manager would show CPU throttling or temperature issues rather than high disk usage as the primary symptom. Option B is incorrect because while insufficient RAM can cause performance issues, it typically manifests as high memory usage in Task Manager with disk activity spikes during paging operations. The described symptoms specifically point to persistent disk bottlenecks rather than memory constraints. Option D is incorrect because while multiple browser tabs can consume resources, they wouldn't typically cause constant disk activity across all operations, including program loading. Browser-related slowdowns would be more noticeable during web browsing specifically, rather than affecting the entire system consistently. 44. A user reports that all their documents, photos, and spreadsheets have been renamed with a locked file extension and cannot be opened. A text file on the desktop demands payment in Bitcoin to recover the files. Which type of malware has infected the system? A. Rootkit. B. Keylogger. C. Ransomware. D. Adware. Do you know the answer? Correct answer: C. Ransomware. Explanation: Option C is correct because the symptoms described, files renamed with a new extension, locked, files becoming inaccessible, and a ransom demand for payment, are the defining characteristics of ransomware. This malware type specifically encrypts user files and demands payment for the decryption key. Option A is incorrect because rootkits are designed to gain unauthorized access to a computer while hiding their presence. They don't typically encrypt files or demand ransoms. Option B is incorrect because keyloggers secretly record keystrokes to steal passwords and sensitive information. They operate silently without encrypting files or making ransom demands. Option D is incorrect because adware displays unwanted advertisements and might track browsing behavior, but doesn't encrypt or lock files. Adware seeks to generate revenue through ad exposure rather than direct extortion. 45. After cleaning a malware infection from a computer, a technician wants to implement preventative measures. Which combination of actions would provide the most effective ongoing protection? A. Install multiple antivirus programs and disable automatic updates. B. Schedule regular scans, enable automatic updates, and educate the user. C. Disable all browser extensions and restrict the user to administrator account only. D. Change the DNS settings and disable system. Restore permanently. What do you think is the answer? Correct answer. B. Schedule regular scans, enable automatic updates, and educate the user. Explanation. Option B is correct because it implements a comprehensive protection strategy. Scheduled scans detect potential threats, automatic updates ensure security software and the operating system have the latest protections, and user education addresses the human element of security, which is often the primary attack vector. Option A is incorrect because multiple antivirus programs typically conflict with each other, causing performance issues and potential false negatives. Disabling automatic updates would prevent the system from receiving critical security patches, increasing vulnerability. Option C is incorrect because while limiting browser extensions can improve security, disabling all extensions prevents the use of legitimate security extensions. Using an administrator account for daily tasks is actually less secure than using a standard user account, as it gives potential malware elevated privileges. Option D is incorrect because changing DNS settings alone doesn't provide comprehensive protection, and permanently disabling System Restore eliminates an important recovery option without providing security benefits after malware has been removed. 46. What is the primary reason for disabling System Restore before attempting to remove malware? A. To improve system performance during scanning. B. To prevent malware from hiding and restore points. C. To make room on the hard drive for antivirus updates. D. To allow safe mode to function properly. Do you know the answer? Correct answer. B. To prevent malware from hiding and restore points. Explanation. Option B is correct because System Restore is disabled to prevent malware from persisting and restore points. If System Restore remains enabled, infected restore points could reintroduce malware after cleaning, or the malware itself might use restore points as a hiding place or persistence mechanism. Option A is incorrect because while disabling System Restore might marginally improve performance, this is not the primary reason for disabling it during malware removal. The security benefit far outweighs any performance consideration. Option C is incorrect because disabling System Restore is not primarily about freeing disk space. Modern antivirus updates are typically not large enough to require this measure, and there are other ways to free space if needed. Option D is incorrect because System Restore status does not affect safe mode functionality. Safe mode will work properly regardless of whether System Restore is enabled or disabled. 47. A technician has successfully removed malware from a system and is now re-enabling System Restore. What should the technician do immediately after enabling System Restore? A. Run a final scan to verify the system is clean. B. Create a new restore point. C. Reboot the computer. D. Reconnect to the network. What do you think is the answer? Correct answer. B. Create a new restore point. Explanation. Option B is correct because after re-enabling System Restore, Creating a new clean restore point is the immediate next action. This establishes a known good recovery point that doesn't contain any malware files, allowing safe system recovery if needed in the future. Option A is incorrect, because verification scanning should be completed before re-enabling System Restore, not after. By the time System Restore is re-enabled, the system should already be verified as clean. Option C is incorrect because while rebooting might be done at various points in the process, it's not specifically required immediately after re-enabling System Restore and creating a restore point. There's no technical reason to reboot at this specific moment in the process. Option D is incorrect because reconnecting to the network is not specifically tied to System Restore re-enablement. The system may have already been reconnected earlier if online functionality was needed for updates, or this might happen after user education is completed. 48. A user is unable to install any new applications, and existing apps fail to update. Error messages mention insufficient storage even though the user has deleted several apps. Which of the following is the most appropriate next step? A. Factory reset the device. B. Clear system cache. C. Check available storage and clear app caches. D. Format the SD card. Do you know the answer? Correct answer. C. Check available storage and clear app caches. Explanation. Option C is correct because explicitly checking available storage and clearing app caches addresses the specific insufficient storage error. Often, deleting apps alone isn't enough if large app caches remain or if system storage reporting is inaccurate. Clearing app caches can free significant space without losing important data. Option A is incorrect because a factory reset is far too extreme for a storage issue. This would delete all user data when the problem can likely be solved by proper storage management. Option B is incorrect because while clearing system cache might help free some space, it's not as directly targeted as checking overall storage and clearing individual app caches. System cache is only one part of the storage puzzle. Option D is incorrect because formatting the SD card would only be relevant if apps were being installed to external storage, which isn't specified in the scenario. Additionally, this would delete all data on the card, which is unnecessarily destructive when the issue might be related to internal storage. 49. A mobile device user complains that certain apps start up properly, but then freeze after a few minutes of use. Which of the following would be the most likely cause? A. The operating system is corrupted. B. CPU overheating. C. Insufficient RAM or storage space. D. Battery is failing. Can you guess the answer? Correct answer. C. Insufficient RAM or storage space. Explanation. Option C is correct because insufficient RAM or storage space typically allows apps to launch initially, but causes problems once the app needs more resources during operation. When memory or storage is nearly full, apps may start normally, but freeze or crash when trying to cache data or perform memory-intensive operations. Option A is incorrect because an OS corruption would typically cause more widespread and consistent issues, not just freezing after a few minutes of specific app usage. OS problems would more likely prevent apps from launching at all or cause system-wide instability. Option B is incorrect because while overheating can cause performance issues, it typically affects the entire device rather than specific apps freezing after a consistent time period. Option D is incorrect because battery issues would manifest as unexpected shutdowns, rapid battery drain, or power-related warnings. A failing battery wouldn't cause apps to consistently freeze after a few minutes of operation, while otherwise functioning normally. 50. After installing an app from a third-party source, a user notices their contacts are receiving spam messages that appear to be from them. Which of the following best describes what has likely occurred? A. The user's email account has been compromised. B. The malicious app is accessing contacts and sending messages. C. The cellular carrier's messaging system has a security flaw. D. The user's device needs a system update to patch a vulnerability. What do you think is the answer? Correct answer. B. The malicious app is accessing contacts and sending messages. Explanation. Option B is correct, because the timing and symptoms strongly indicate that the newly installed app has obtained permissions to access contacts and send messages. This is a common behavior of malicious apps, especially those installed from untrusted sources. Option A is incorrect, because while an email compromise could result in messages being sent to contacts, the scenario specifically mentions installation of a third-party app immediately before the problem, making the app the more likely culprit. Additionally, email compromises typically don't directly access mobile device contacts. Option C is incorrect, because carrier messaging system flaws would typically affect multiple users, not just begin immediately after a specific app installation. There's a clear cause and effect relationship pointing to the app rather than the carrier infrastructure. Option D is incorrect, because while keeping the system updated is important for security, the direct correlation between installing the third-party app and the subsequent messaging issue points to the app as the immediate cause, not a system vulnerability that would be fixed by an update. You have reached the end of our question set. For the complete exam preparation experience, visit us at MyITCerts.com, where you find thousands more practice questions and comprehensive study guides. You can study completely free using our study materials and questions, and ace your exams with confidence. Thank you for studying with us today. See you in the next video.